The planet we inhabit is a delicate and diverse biosphere. At its equator, there is a green belt of tropical rainforest that spans over 3,000 miles wide. The Amazon basin alone contains the world's largest tropical rainforest, covering more than 3 million square miles. These pristine emerald forests help maintain the Earth's fragile balance. Waves of hot, humid air from the Amazon drive weather systems and feed rainfall around the planet. 20% of the world's fresh water is generated there. A typical 4 square mile area of rainforest houses as many as 750 species of trees. 20% of all the birds and plants on Earth evolved in the Amazon basin. Countless species have yet to be discovered, many of them providing possible cures for such diseases as cancer and AIDS. Sadly, deforestation in the Amazon now releases as much carbon as U.S. automobiles. There are many forces engaged in the wholesale destruction of these forests, often in the name of progress and industrial development. Oil and gas pipelines serve as arteries that open up the forest, draining its lifeblood and leaving behind toxic waste, thus destroying millions of acres. It is the indigenous and forest cultures that have inhabited these remote regions for thousands of years who suffer the consequences.
En nuestra concepción, el territorio no se puede vender. En nuestra concepción, nuestra filosofía hace que el territorio sea como nuestra madre y que por eso nosotros lo respetamos, nosotros vivimos de ella, nacimos en ella, crecimos en ella y a ella mismo vamos.
Porque el mundo indígena vive con una cosmovisión diferente. El petróleo no es el mismo sinónimo del mundo económico occidental como del mundo indígena. El petróleo tiene su razón de ser, su balance espiritual, la sangre de la tierra, el equilibrio de la tierra, la fuerza de la naturaleza y todo esto.
Everywhere in the Amazon, people are resisting in order to defend their land and livelihood. Amazon Watch is building strong alliances with indigenous peoples and environmental activists throughout the region to stand up to powerful interests. And they are bringing the voices of the affected to the doorstep of those responsible.
Sin agua no hay vida, sin sol no hay vida, sin luna no hay vida.
Fortunately, through the dedicated work of thousands of caring people, there have been many important victories. In May of 2002, after 10 years of peaceful international resistance, primarily led by the Uwa people of Colombia, Occidental Petroleum finally pulled out of their territory.
Sarayaco se distingue por ser un pueblo que no quiere la entrada de las empresas petroleras, de madereras.
It's basically those 2 blocks and then east towards the Peruvian border. And that's the area that is roadless, still pristine, and obviously under threat. To date, the struggle over 10 years has kept oil companies out. And it's been primarily led by
There is hope. Ecuador President Rafael Correa is proposing to leave the nation's largest oil reserves in the ground forever, saving the Yasuni rainforest. The Yasuni National Park boasts more tree species in 1 hectare than in all of the U.S. and Canada combined.
El bosque es nuestro sagrado, que nos cuida. Sin bosque no podemos vivir.
La empresa Occidental salió de nuestro territorio Achuar del Corriente, Pastaza y de Morona.
Estamos celebrando la salida de Oxy del lote 64. Y eso es algo que hay que celebrar, hermanos, por la lucha y por el trabajo de todos juntos.
Even though Occidental Petroleum is left, companies such as ConocoPhillips, Hunt Oil, Talisman, Petrolifera currently own drilling rights to a vast, intact span of the Amazon rainforest.
Quiero dar mensaje del pueblo achuar. Por las demás empresas petroleras que están interesados, el pueblo achuar siempre va hacer respetar con su decisión de no a la actividad petrolera.
But the work is by no means over.
Violencia, muerte, derramamiento de sangre.
Amazon Watch continues to raise public awareness about the struggles going on throughout the Amazon.
Andrew Miller, a human rights campaigner with Amazon Watch, joins us now in the studio. I mean, what a story. How do we know, first of all, that they are uncontacted?
Within this area of the Amazon, there are several dozen groups like this, and there are very recent cases in recent decades of groups that have been contacted and have had 40–50% of their population decimated by common diseases. You have to understand that they don't have the immunological defenses that we have to the common cold, to measles. There has been a movement to create different kinds of reserves, both in Brazil and in Peru and other countries where you have these tribes. The problem is that there often isn't really the will on the part of the government. There's sort of a conflict between the protection of these groups and the resources. But we need to take a longer view on this. I mean, essentially, the areas where these groups live are some of the most biodiverse areas. And our sense is, as go these groups, essentially goes the Amazon. And that has global implications.
In the last decade, Amazon Watch has delivered over $800,000 in capacity building grants and communications equipment to indigenous organizations, local communities, and environmental groups on the front lines.
A court-appointed expert set damages at $8 to $16 billion for what is the largest environmental rainforest disaster in history. Our Clean Up Ecuador campaign is forcing Chevron to take responsibility for the disaster it left behind in Ecuador. Chevron deliberately dumped over 18 billion gallons of toxic wastewater into the Ecuadorian Amazon. And now local communities are suffering a major public health crisis.
Queremos que Texaco, hoy Chevron, limpie y repare el daño causado.
This is an historic case because it's the first time that the law has forced a giant American oil company to come to a court in a South American country to face charges of massive environmental contamination.
Chevron is facing mounting grassroots and shareholder pressure, while in Ecuador they're facing the real prospect of losing this case. In early 2008, an independent court-appointed expert reviewed the evidence, including thousands of soil and water samples taken by both sides, and concluded that Chevron is responsible for over $16 billion in damages. This is a huge step forward for justice in Ecuador.
And for over 30 years, Oxy deliberately dumped over 9 billion barrels of toxic wastewater in the Peruvian Amazon and the territories of the Achuar indigenous peoples.
Maltratando nuestra cultura, han dejado destruyendo nuestro ambiente.
I saw oil spills, polluted rivers, dead animals, and many sick children.
Estamos llevando el caso legal de Achuar contra Occidental en Los Ángeles.
Occidental has to take responsibility and has to bioremediate those lands.
Nosotros vamos a cumplir los mandatos de nuestro CIRA. Tenemos que defender el territorio, tenemos que defender el sitio sagrados y tenemos que defender la ley de nosotros. Por eso hemos decidido a defender hasta lo último.
The forest peoples need our help to protect their homeland so that future generations might inherit not only a healthy environment, but an opportunity to maintain their culture and way of life. Most of the oil from the Amazon basin feeds us in North America. It is up to us then to take responsibility and stand up for those who need our help, and recognize that our future survival is inextricably connected to theirs. We all share this world. We feel its beauty. Let us work together to protect its diversity.